Hello Exiles, a quick video here. I just wanted to go over how some of the new supports are going to affect the Frost Blades Trickster in the upcoming league. And there were a couple I was looking at, so that was Volatility, Trauma, and Returning Projectiles. So for the most part, I think those would be the things you would actually consider for the build. And looking at it, unfortunately, I don't believe that these are going to quite make the cut. So volatility, when you look at it, the interesting thing about volatility is I thought the more maximum attack damage would put it over something like elemental damage with attacks and get a bigger hit, making you more likely to freeze on Ubers who have a 70% reduction in damage they take. So you need a big hit to kind of get the ball rolling as far as your Heat Shiver procs and Trinity, which are going to be very important. And so you need to hit a freeze. And in order to hit a freeze, you need to hit big damage. Unfortunately, there's a much better option for this, and it's been in the game, and it's actually right down here. It's Ruthless. Ruthless already is going to do what we would want volatility to do. So if you were going to consider, running volatility to get that freeze rolling, you may as well run Ruthless. It's going to be more reliable at doing it, and it's going to do it for a higher amount, making that initial freeze much easier and also more consistent to maintain throughout. And then the next one is Trauma. Trauma could have been something we considered once we got all of our phys taken as and like all of our little tricks to kind of mitigate physical damage going later on, along with enough leech and life gain on hit to sustain, especially considering we wouldn't build it up that fast because multi-strike actually will only give you 1 stack of trauma per 3 hits basically. So let's say we're attacking, we're on the higher end and we're attacking 12 times per second. We're only going to be accumulating 4 stacks of trauma per second, which could actually work in our favor. But regardless, all of that is thrown out the window by the very bottom line there. Supported skills can only be used with axes, maces, scepters, or staves. For the Frost Blades Trickster, we want to use Nightblade. We're not going to be able to use Nightblade with any of those. We need to use our Claw. So unfortunately, that is also currently out the window. And this definitely isn't better than Nightblade, so it wouldn't make us consider taking, like, say, axes or something over the Claw. Maces and scepters are too slow to even consider, so axes would be the only thing we would consider out of those. And yeah, we're not going to take that over a Claw for this because Nightblade is better both in terms of damage and raw utility in that we get elusive, which gives us defenses and movement speed as well. So Trauma is also out. Finally, the one that maybe is most worth considering out of all of those, given the information we have now, there's no real alternative. It is Returning Projectiles support. Now, previously, we were anointing Vengeance Cascade to get this effect. Instead of having an amulet anoint, we would now have to give up a slot on our gear. And we would also get less damage with returning projectiles, and we would almost certainly still have to invest the, I think it was over 110% projectile speed to get the projectiles to return, because basically in order to get them to return you need the Frost Blades projectiles to go far enough off screen that they basically hit the rendering distance, and there's basically an invisible wall that they would bounce off of at that point, unless you're in an indoors area or an area with like natural barriers of some sort, like some of the water levels you could only go so far outside of the water and they'd bounce back, so there were built-in invisible walls. So unless you're in one of those areas, if you're in any open area, you needed, like, I think it was 115 or so, I think, percent projectile speed in order for your projectiles to hit that invisible barrier, the rendering distance, and then return to you. So you would still have to do that, and you'd have to give up a socket and you would also, it'd be doing less damage with the returning projectiles. So it's basically worse in every single way, and also just not worth using overall. It's a little unfortunate, sad but true. So the good news in all of this is Frost Blades Trickster is not nerfed. It's every bit as good as it ever was, and may be getting better depending on what we're looking at for tattoos, because we do have like an excess of dexterity. So if there's some good dexterity tattoos that kind of synergize with our stuff, we can also probably take the +1 to skill gem levels, bigger ones. That could be really nice because of how high the damage scaling, both flat and percentage, is on Frost Blades. So that could improve our DPS pretty considerably. So there are definitely some things from the new league, but as far as new gems, unfortunately we haven't gotten any help. We'll have to take a look at the new uniques that come out. Potentially there's something there, but overall that is it for new stuff. Hope you enjoyed. I will probably be coming back with, I'm trying to get another alternative league starter because I don't want to just do Frost Blades Trickster. So I'll be back with that as soon as possible. And I'm also currently about to update the POB. I will do that literally now. I was messing around with some custom stuff here. And there will be a new POB for you. It's not new, nothing's actually changed, it's just in the latest POB with all of the updated stuff here. But yeah, I've pretty much gone through all of that's done. I might do one more frequently asked questions because I'm getting a lot of the same questions again, which I don't mind, but you know, I don't want to have to answer the same question a million times in the comments. So watch out for that video if you still have questions on how the offenses or defenses of the build work. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.